Today we got a comparison between the Hopper 20 and the Hopper Flip 12. Both of them from Yeti, company out of Austin, Texas. And basically the numbers behind the model numbers stand for the number of quarts they hold. So the Yeti Hopper 20 holds 20 quarts, or 5 gallons, and the Yeti Hopper Flip 12, boy that's a mouthful, holds 12 quarts, or 3 gallons. So as you can imagine, when these guys are both loaded down with ice at about 8 pounds a piece, they're pretty heavy. So I believe that puts the Yeti Flip 12 at about 4 kilos, and the Yeti Hopper 20 at about 11 kilos respectively. So pretty heavy. And let's be honest, when you take this thing to the beach, if you're wearing this on your shoulder, it's really heavy. And if you get down there, you're going to be putting sunscreen back on whatever shoulder you put it on, because frankly, it's just really, really a lot to load down there. Hopper Flip 12, on the other hand, much lighter, much more able to maneuver, and it's not as heavy, that's for sure. I can hold it in one hand and it's easy. I look at this as like a multi-day kind of packing in the back of the woods and take the ice with me. It's going to last for 3 or 4 days, no problem. And I'm not going to be able to drink all the beer in this in one sitting. Whereas the Hopper Flip 12, I've got a pretty good chance that I might get through all those. So when you're looking at them, the Hopper Flip 12 is probably a better choice for a day trip, and the Hopper 20 is probably a better choice for those long trips. Now, this is the first generation Hopper, and obviously it's got the flat zipper on top. So if I look at this, I got a flat zipper. It's a nice hydro lock here, hydro lock, and it's a waterproof zipper. When you look inside the pouch here, we've got food safe storage, so you can serve chili or soup or whatever you want out of there. I don't know if I would, but you could. When you zip it back up all the way, right, we've got a watertight zipper, so if when you turn it upside down, nothing's going to leak out. All right, now if we get to the other parts of this cooler, we've got some MOLLE straps here on the side where you can put a thing like a bottle opener or something like that, nice and secure. The thing I liked about the Hopper 20 first generation was that when I got finished zipping it up, I actually had a place to put my beverage as I was waiting for whatever to happen. So that was a nice feature. Now in the Generation 2, they actually eliminated the 20 quart size and went up to a 30 quart size. So when you look at that, they actually made it more like a, well, frankly, a purse. And it stands upright and the zipper's kind of on the front, and so when you open it, it's more like reaching into a purse. Now that's great, because if you're a guy like me and you got a watch and a ring, when you reach down into the Yeti Hopper 20, it can be kind of a pain. Everything kind of catches coming in and going out. But on the Hopper 30, the newer model, that's the bigger second generation, not so much of a problem. So that's kind of the pluses and minuses on this guy. This is in fog gray and Tahoe blue. They also come in green and orange. Yeah, it's okay. And as you can see, the Flip 12 on your right is a little bit newer. It's not as faded. So you take this thing out in direct sunlight, it will fade over time. If you're looking at ice, I only have to fill this thing up about twice a week with ice. I imagine that this one's going to have to be filled up a little more often just because it's a lower volume, and it's also got less mass. When you talk about cooling a body of mass, this one's not going to last as long. That's just a function of physics. So they're both very solid coolers. They're nice and thick. I mean, these guys led the way. They're the pioneers. You got other people following along like Arctic and some of the other cheaper brands sold at Walmart. Igloo's trying to do the same thing. It's fine. They're all great stuff. I find these to be really, really durable. They can take a beating, and they're also really well made. They're not cheap. Let's not kid ourselves. And actually, I mentioned the bottle openers earlier in another video, and actually once I make that one, I'll link it in a card up there. I'll also put that in the description down below, and I'll give you guys a link to that comparison review when it comes out, because they've actually got some really neat stuff. And as you see here on the back of the Hopper 20, I've actually got one of the MOLLE bottle openers on here. So this guy just slides right in the MOLLE straps, and you've got an easy way to take a bottle opener to the beach. Now a lot of places don't allow glass, so you know, that's a little bit of a trade-off there, and certainly you can take it camping because they don't care. But if you're going to the pool or you're going to the beach, you know, you probably want to stay away from the bottles and stick more to the cans. So anyway, that's a lot about these guys. You know, the Flip 12, I'm anticipating is going to be a great little thing. We've got warm weather coming up and summer's approaching. So, you know, as you take these guys down to the beach, this guy in direct sunlight, been taking this guy down to the beach for probably about 4 years, and it holds up really well. You know, the ice lasts all day. As I said, I only fill it up about twice a week. I got a nice big bag at the beginning of the week, put it all in there. and it lasts throughout the time. Now, something to keep in mind, Yeti does advise that you pre-cool these before you actually put the beverages in there, and that's words to live by. If you take a cooler that's hot, it's been sitting in the back of your van or your truck or your car or whatever, and you try and put cold beverages and ice into it right away, it's going to take a while for the interior to cool off. So pre-chill the interior. I know it sounds silly, but it works. Go ahead and pre-chill the interior, then put your beverages in, and that ice will last you a nice long time. So that's all I got to say about that guy. And then on the Flip 12, I'm imagining this will probably be like a day cooler, so I'll probably end up putting ice in it almost every day. Not because I would absolutely have to. I could probably get away with going 2 days or so on this, but it just keeps everything nice and crispy and nice overall. So. Anyway, one of the things I never understood about the Yeti coolers is you'll see on the bottom of these guys, they've got the word Yeti written on the bottom of them, but it's kind of in a human readable form, right? It's the right way. When you put this down in the sand or the dirt, right, and you pick it up, it's going to leave a backwards impression of the Yeti logo in the sand or the dirt. I never really got that. I kind of suspect that Yeti knows that it does that, and they kind of leave it the way it is so they can say that they're not, intentionally leaving advertising all over the place. But certainly if they wanted to, they could put this logo in reverse, and then you'd have a nice little imprint in the sand everywhere you went saying, hey, I had a Yeti here. But they don't tend to do that. So Yeti, if you're watching, just want to let you know that I'm happy to review more of your products. Would love to get in some of the hard-sided coolers, and I've got plenty of your drinkware, and if we talk about bottle openers, got plenty of them too. So let's talk. All right, guys, one thing I forgot to mention, these zippers are absolutely fantastic, but they do get a little soiled over time. They can build up dirt and grime. So you can take an old toothbrush or whatever and kind of scrub them out. That's great for getting rid of the dirt. And then there's actually a little tube, and this is what you guys are waiting for, to open up both of these guys. When you get your Yeti, it's kind of, nice thick insulation. You got about 2 inches here. It also comes with a shoulder strap, and you get a little care package like this. Now, as you notice in the care package, you got a little tube of silicone. That's a lubricant, right? So when your zipper gets a little tough to pull, you're going to go ahead and clean it out with that scrub brush, and then you're going to put a couple drops of that silicone right in front of the zipper here, right? So right here on the side, put a couple drops in the front, and then work the zipper around. It'll be nice and smooth. So depending on wear and use, you should only have to do that once a year. But honestly, if you use it really hard and you're something like a trail guide and you're out and about in the wilderness all the time, it's going to take more of a beating, and you're going to have to do it more often. But anyway, they give you all the things that you need to maintain this for several years, many years actually, because that zipper lubricant, that's a big old tube when you consider you're only using a couple drops out of the sucker each time. So anyway, that's kind of it. If you follow Yeti on their social media, they actually got some pretty neat stuff on there. As you'll notice, this one's food safe as well. And if you compare kind of the length of the zipper in general, one model to the other, you can see that the Yeti Hopper 20 has a much shorter zipper as far as total travel space. And so when you look at it, the air exchange is naturally going to be smaller on the Hopper 20. Now, like I said before, the Hopper 30 is the only model available now. And I think what they did to do that was they actually stratified the models. So you've got the Hopper 8 and 12, the 18, the 24, and then you've got the Hopper 30, which is the second generation, which looks like the purse. So that's kind of how the model lineup runs down. It's a really neat product. I mean, these things are really well made. I know a lot of people think these are just status symbols, but believe me, I've got relatives that guide out in places like Montana, and trust me, these are everyday items that they use and rely upon for their business. So, hey, thanks guys for watching. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, turn on those post notifications so you don't miss any content, and we'll see you next week. Thanks.